Hello everyone, Mocha here, and welcome back to Mocha Bear's Hobby Den. Today we will be doing an in-depth review of one of the factions from the Dungeons of Drakkenheim book. Shall we get started? This will be the first of 5 in this series, as there are 5 factions in this book. But before we get started, brief announcement. I was reached out to by a company called Dice Legion. They were asking if I would be interested in being an ambassador for them. I took a look and I decided, why not? Dice Legion offers a wide variety of dice, ranging from resin, acrylic, and metal, as well as a selection of dice trays, some dice bags, and accessories like enamel pins, D20 earrings, and animal companion magnets. They even have a small collection of dice that are on sale. Those are all also ranging from resin, acrylic, and metal. If you, any of your friends or family are dice goblins like myself, then you will definitely want to check out the selection of dice that they offer. And on top of that, if you add the code MochaBear10 when you go to check out, you will save 10% off your order. Check them out at dicelegion.com. The link to their website and my code will be down below in the description box. So the first faction we'll be checking out is the Amethyst Academy. I have my book right here, but of course I also have the PDF, so you will be able to follow along with me. The Amethyst Academy is a research institute, educational organization, and mage guild pursuing the arcane mysteries of Delirium. The faction is small and outwardly aloof, yet subtly influential and tremendously wealthy. They are led by a shadowy directorate of powerful archmages who dispatched Archwizard Eldrick Runeweaver to oversee their operations in Drakkenheim. Most of its members are potent, arcane spellcasters with access to rare magical resources, but only a handful of agents are active in Drakkenheim. The Amethyst Academy began as a secret school for young sorcerers during a time when arcane magic faced extreme persecution from the clergy of the Sacred Flame. The mages located children who manifested magical talents, rescued them from their fearful and paranoid communities, and educated them in hidden strongholds and faraway castles so they might wield their abilities with trained and refined control. The secret school gradually grew into a secret society in its own right. Sequestered in unseen universities to hide from the mage-slaying Knights of the Silver Order, the mages pooled their knowledge. They conducted research into arcane and cosmological phenomena and developed the modern practice of wizardry. Over time, the Amethyst Academy secured allies amongst the nobility by providing them clandestine magical services and occult counsel, crafting enchanted heirlooms, protecting their castles with arcane wards, and teaching their heirs magic. When these schemes were discovered by the faith of the Sacred Flame, a renewed series of brutal inquisitions and vengeful witch hunts began. What had been a shadow conflict between paladins and sorcerers for centuries spilled into outright war between noble houses who championed the faith and those that supported the Amethyst Academy. These conflicts ended with the Edicts of Lumen, which we will touch in another episode, enacted 3 suppressions of arcane magic by the religious ministry, and established a new balance of power between mages, the faith, and the nobility throughout the continent. The Edicts of Lumen bestow extensive protections, full autonomy, and economic advantages to the Amethyst Academy, but also require the Academy to observe strict standards of mercantile neutrality and political non-intervention. Most importantly, it grants the Amethyst Academy guardianship of any child who demonstrates magical aptitude until they come of age and master their abilities. In exchange, the agreement stipulates that all arcane spellcasters are disinherited from any land, rank, or titles, including the scions of noble and royal families. Since the edicts, Academy mages may work magic without fear of oppression from church or state, though the organization remains withdrawn as it increasingly turns its attention to global affairs and extraplanar happenings. However, the direction and focus of the Amethyst Academy has dramatically shifted following the destruction of Drakkenheim, when their greatest stronghold was cut off from them. While the Amethyst Academy outwardly upholds the Edicts of Lumen, in recent years some have claimed the mages furtively flaunt its restrictions and disregard the terms that forbid dark magical practices. Others suspect the mages are weaving an arcane conspiracy to control commerce and influence politics while shielding themselves from the wrath of the Sacred Flame. Agents typically wear purple robes, cloaks, or hoods. Members of the Amethyst Academy each wear a set of rings made from exotic arcane metals. The number of rings worn corresponds to the highest level spell they can cast. Known as Academy Rings, these are magic items that identify them as an Academy graduate and often permit access to Academy strongholds. A set of 5 or more functions as a ring of spell storing, and some allow control over a shield guardian. However, each set is made for a specific individual, and only that person may attune to that set of Academy rings. The Amethyst Academy does not currently have a dedicated base of operations in Drakkenheim. Indeed, one of their most important objectives is reclaiming the inscrutable tower so it can be used for such purposes. For the time being, most Academy members simply make use of local accommodations. Eldrick and River have booked a permanent suite in the Red Lion Hotel. However, the Amethyst Academy has secretly created a permanent teleportation circle in the cellar beneath the abandoned Eventide Manor in Emberwood Village. Academy agents come and go from the cellar using invisibility spells. Far away from Drakkenheim, the Amethyst Academy has many great fortresses, libraries, and universities. Most notable are the Enigma Ziggurat in the free city of Liberio and Paradox Castle in the distant Eastern Vale. Both have well-guarded teleportation circles, and Academy agents working in Drakkenheim usually teleport back and forth between these strongholds and the secret circle in Emberwood Village. The sigil sequences of these teleportation circles is a close guarded secret known only to Academy mages who can cast 5th level spells. And here are the role-playing characteristics for the Amethyst Academy. These are mostly meant for the Dungeon Master to use. However, if you are someone who's willing to have your players start out in these factions, you can give them these options for their characteristics and ideals and things. Their objectives are to collect and study delirium. Far away from Drakkenheim in secret laboratories, Amethyst Academy wizards relentlessly research delirium samples recovered from the ruins. Their brilliant minds have crafted potent arcane artifacts and invented mighty new spells powered by the vast energies contained within the crystals. Though the true origin of delirium remains unknown to them, many Academy assets are now dedicated to the study and refinement of delirium. They procure enormous quantities to fuel their esoteric experiments and eldritch industries. Rather than risk their own members' lives in the ruins of Drakkenheim, the Academy usually obtains delirium through various gray market sources, typically by hiring adventurers. The mages do not disregard the dangers presented by delirium's contaminating properties. In fact, it is precisely because of these hazards that the mages believe only they can use the crystals responsibly. Thus, the Academy seeks complete control over this critical resource both to protect the wider world and to secure their magical hegemony, I don't know how to pronounce that word, for the foreseeable future. However, other factions are now moving to reclaim Drakkenheim and potentially install a new ruling dynasty. Such political upheavals could affect the Academy's ability to research and harvest delirium. The Academy does not want a ruler who will destroy delirium, force the Academy to pay exorbitant sums to obtain it, or impose conditions on how the Academy may use the crystals. Ultimately, the Academy has zero interest in seeing Drakkenheim restored and rebuilt, and view this as a folly doomed to fail. Rather, they have an ambitious plan to transform the city ruins into a quarry for their research and industry. Once they fulfill their other goals, the Amethyst Academy wants the other factions to totally abandon Drakkenheim so they can have sole control over the ruins. Drakkenheim was once home to one of the Amethyst Academy's most important strongholds, the Inscrutable Tower. This immense structure houses vast repositories of magical lore, incomplete magical experiments, hidden vaults containing unspeakable extraplanar entities, and powerful magic items sheltered from the world at large, all rendered completely inaccessible to the Academy since the meteor fell. The deep haze has settled within the tower, scrambling the Academy's own arcane wards and foiling every attempt to enter or observe the tower using teleportation or divination magic. The mages have already expended considerable effort attempting to retake the tower on their own. These attempts catastrophically failed. The pragmatic wizards cannot afford to exhaust the Academy's resources in such a fruitless manner any longer, so now they turn to research and patient methods to advance their goals in Drakkenheim. They seek a suitably talented, trustworthy, and expendable adventuring party to conduct survey and recovery missions into the Inscrutable Tower. If the tower were to be secured and repaired, the Amethyst Academy would have the ideal staging ground to begin the mass industrial exploitation of delirium and would be able to bring its full resources to bear in Drakkenheim. Many talented mages were lost or killed by the meteor strike, including the former Archmage of Drakkenheim, Adriana Modiera. Her position on the Archmage's Directorate has remained vacant ever since. The Academy desperately wishes to discover her ultimate fate, recover her research, and obtain the Inscrutable Staff, the symbol of office for the Archmage of Drakkenheim, which is also one of the seals of Drakkenheim, which we will delve into in a future episode. Traditionally, The Archmage of Drakkenheim acts as an advisor on the Royal Council, so possessing this inscrutable staff ensures the Amethyst Academy maintains their influence in the political destiny of Westmar. And we won't be going into any of the key characters or anything like that. There's missions here, but there's boons. The boons of the Amethyst Academy are as follows. Arcane supplies. The Amethyst Academy gives each character one uncommon potion or spell scroll of a spell from the wizard spell list of their choice when they begin a mission that directly advances the Academy's goals. Higher level characters with proven reputations may be offered items of rare or very rare quality instead. Arcane spellcasting services. River and Eldritch Runeweaver can offer their services as spellcasters to the characters as needed. They won't personally travel to the ruins, however. And I'll do another video in the future once these factions are all done of key characters from each faction. Material components. The Amethyst Academy can provide material components for spells of 5th level or lower, whose sum total value is no more than 500 gold pieces prior to any mission. Occult lore. The Amethyst Academy is the foremost authority on magical lore and arcane phenomena. Their sages can answer questions about contemporary magic, magical creatures such as constructs, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead, any spell or magic item in the core rules, and historical facts about the past 500 years. If you feel the matter is something that might require some deeper research, it takes the Academy 1 week to unearth relevant information. The Academy uses its discretion when revealing details about sensitive topics, especially information about the meteor or delirium, and never reveals its own secrets or details about its internal politics to outsiders. Elemental summons. Now this sounds fun. If the player characters have a reasonable need for reinforcements during a mission, the Amethyst Academy offers the characters an elemental gem, which is a magic item, which I will be doing another video on, of course. Magical artifice. As a reward for completing an Academy mission, the mages offer the party one uncommon magic item of their choice, subject to GM approval. The Amethyst Academy grants this boon once per player character. Once each character has received an uncommon item, the Academy will begin granting them one rare item each, then one very rare item each, as appropriate for completing missions of commensurate importance. Guild membership. A sorcerer, warlock, or wizard who can cast spells of 5th level or higher is offered guild membership in the Amethyst Academy. If they accept, they are given a purple robe of useful objects, a wand of magic missiles, and a ring of spell storing. These items bear Academy iconography and clearly identify the character as an Academy member when worn. Library gift. Characters instrumental to retaking the inscrutable tower who demonstrate a complete commitment to the Academy's ideals and goals are rewarded with their choice of a manual of bodily health, a tome of clear thought, or a tome of understanding. And then just look at that. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I'm a person who loves great artwork. Look at that thing. The Living Deep Haze. One of the many new monsters in this book, which I will be doing another video on in the future. Strike teams I will do later on for a more in-depth use for when a DM needs to use this book. But I will finish off here with the schemes. The Amethyst Academy is a surreptitious foe. When the Amethyst Academy acts, it does not appear to be doing anything at all. They conduct their affairs like a business and orchestrate events behind the scenes to turn out in their favor. If the player characters pose a threat to Amethyst Academy's goals, the mages begin using scrying spells to observe the characters when they are outside the haze, and send summon spies to tail them within the city. At first, their aim is to simply learn as much about the characters and their plans as possible, then use this knowledge to dispatch their own strike teams to disrupt the players. Eventually, they may begin using dream spells to interrupt their rests. If the player characters do not work with them, the Amethyst Academy invests in resources in rival adventuring teams instead, which is a fun thing to do. In tandem with their magical surveillance, the Amethyst Academy sends these rival adventurers to sabotage the characters' missions. In many cases, these rival adventurers are given a false premise and don't actually know disrupting the player characters is their primary purpose. The Amethyst Academy might even charge rival adventurers to accomplish one of the player characters' goals before they can do it, such as taking the clock tower, recovering a relic of St. Virtue VO, finding a seal of Drakkenheim, or something important to a personal quest. They keep the item as a bargaining chip. Should the Amethyst Academy need to dispose of the characters entirely, they dispatch one invisible stalker per character to carry out the deed while the characters are sleeping. They use a scrying spell to confirm the characters are resting and a teleport spell to move their agent into position nearby. If the characters are using magical means to protect themselves, such as a tiny hut spell, they send one mage who casts greater invisibility upon themselves and then casts the spell magic to destroy the barrier. The invisible stalkers are instructed to coordinate their attacks to one character at a time, starting with healers and spellcasters, and will attack down characters to confirm a kill. Yeah. Under the flag of truce, the Amethyst Academy invites the player characters and the faction leaders to attend a demonstration of their latest creation with Delirium. Known as the Disjunction Bomb, this devastating weapon can annihilate an entire city district. They matter-of-factly detonate a test weapon in a cleared wilderness area, and then offer to discuss terms with the characters and the factions about how to best proceed. I hope that was interesting and helpful to you all, especially you DMs who might be wanting to use these things. Again, I will do an actual, more DM-focused video on each of these factions, but for now I will just be doing the overview of these factions. And yes, if you noticed, those are cat ears. The t-shirt one of my players got me last year, and I decided to go ahead and break it out and wear it for this. But again, I hope this was beneficial to you, especially you dungeon masters or game masters. If you are interested in the Dungeon Dudes and Dungeons of Drakkenheim and all these things, I will post a link to the website and their social medias down below in the description box, so you can check them out on your own if you wish. The Dungeon Dudes do have a channel here on YouTube that you should definitely check out if you've not checked them out yet. The Dungeons of Drakkenheim book is based off of one of their campaigns that they've played. Go check out that series as well if you haven't already. Also, I've created a new Instagram that is focused more towards my hobby stuff. I haven't been uploading anything to it yet, I just created it. So when you get a chance, go follow me there. Link to it will be in the description box below, but it's also here on the side of the screen. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the like button, the subscription button, and that bell notification, as well as comment down below if you have any questions about this faction or anything about Dungeons of Drakkenheim. As I said, this is the first of 5 episodes as a review of the factions themselves. As always, thank you for joining me today. Be well, and until next time, hobby on.